My therapist started describing my death in detail, the session that changed everything. I didn't know the exact day I was going to die, but my therapist did. She told me on a Tuesday. Same calm voice she used when asking about my childhood. Same gentle smile. She leaned forward and said, "You won't feel the first impact. The sound will come later, like thunder, but inside your skull." I laughed at first because when someone who's supposed to help you heal starts describing your death in detail, you assume it's a joke. She didn't laugh back. This isn't a ghost story. No haunted houses. No demons in mirrors. This is about therapy. About grief. About the version of your life that never happens. And the quiet horror of realizing someone else might know how your story ends. It starts with me, sitting in a room that smelled like lavender and old books, thinking I was there to fix my anxiety. I left that room knowing the exact way I would die. Meeting the therapist, her name was Dr. Miriam Hale. Mid-40s, soft voice, eyes that didn't blink as often as most people's. Her office was too warm, like she wanted you to stay uncomfortable enough to keep talking. I found her after a bad year, not one big tragedy, just small ones piling up. A job that went nowhere, a relationship that ended without a real ending, that hollow feeling you get when you realize you're living a life you didn't plan. Our first few sessions were normal. She asked about my parents, my sleep, why I felt disconnected from my own reflection. Then one day, she asked a strange question. "If your life ended suddenly," she said, "what do you think people would say about you?" I shrugged. Probably that I was quiet. That I meant well. She nodded slowly. "That's not what they'll say." I laughed. She didn't. She closed her notebook. "You'll die in a public place," she said. "Somewhere noisy. You'll be thinking about something small, something stupid, like whether you locked your door." I waited for her to smile, for the punchline. It didn't come. "That's not funny," I said. "I'm not trying to be funny." Silence filled the room. Thick, heavy. I told myself she was using some therapy technique, shock therapy, confronting mortality, whatever. But then she said, "There will be blood on your shoes, but you won't notice. You'll be more focused on the sound of screaming." My stomach dropped. "Why are you saying this?" She finally looked at me differently, not like a therapist, like someone remembering a dream. "Because you keep talking about the life you didn't choose," she said, "and this is where the one you chose leads." I left that session early, didn't book another appointment. Told myself she was unprofessional, unhinged. That therapists are just people with certificates, and some people are strange. For 2 weeks, I didn't think about her. Then the nightmares started. I'd be standing in a crowded place, train station, market, bus terminal. There would be a loud noise, not quite a bang, not quite a crash, then screaming. I'd wake up with my heart trying to tear its way out of my chest. I went back, not because I trusted her, because part of me wanted to prove her wrong. She welcomed me like nothing happened. "You came back," she said. "I had nightmares," I replied. She nodded. "You're getting closer." "Closer to what?" She didn't answer. Instead, she asked about my childhood again. About the moment I first realized my life wasn't going the way I imagined. I told her about being 16, standing outside a university I never attended, watching other people walk into the life I wanted. She listened carefully. Then she said, "Every choice you don't make becomes a ghost that follows you. Some of them are louder than others. That line stuck with me. The second description too, it gets worse this time. She went further. You'll be wearing something dark, she said. A jacket you almost didn't buy. It will be warm that day, but you'll wear it anyway. I froze. I had bought a dark jacket the day before, even though it was hot. I didn't tell her that. You'll think about calling someone, she continued. Someone you stopped talking to because it was easier than fixing things. My throat tightened. That part was too accurate. Stop, I said. She looked almost sad. I can't. I started to wonder if she wasn't predicting my future. What if she was remembering it? The way she spoke wasn't like someone imagining. It was like someone recalling something that already happened. I asked her directly, "Have you seen this happen before?" Her eyes flickered. "Not to you," she said, "but I've seen this ending." That sentence sat in my chest like a stone. "Before I left," she said, "one last thing. But that's not what's breaking you." I paused at the door. "Then what is?" She spoke quietly. "You're afraid that the life you didn't choose is the one that would have saved you." And for the first time since I met her, I walked out of that room wondering if my death wasn't the scary part. What scared me was the idea that I was already living the wrong ending. After that session, I started noticing patterns. Every description she gave matched things I hadn't told her, places I passed, people I avoided, decisions I kept postponing. It felt like my life was moving towards something I didn't understand. I stopped taking crowded routes, avoided public places, changed my routine. I thought I could outsmart whatever future she saw. It didn't help. Because the more I tried to avoid it, the more trapped I felt inside my own life. The confession one day, I asked her why she was doing this. She closed her door, turned off the small lamp in the corner. The room went dim. "I see people at the end of their paths," she said. "Not how they die, but who they are when they do." That didn't make sense. "I don't see the accident," she continued. "I see the version of you that reaches it." My chest tightened. "So I can change it." She shook her head slowly. "You can change who you become before it." The tragic truth, she told me something then that still hurts to remember. "There was another version of you," she said. "One who chose differently. One who took the risk you avoided. One who stayed when it was uncomfortable to leave." I whispered, "What happened to him?" Her voice broke. "He's the one who survives." The room felt like it was closing in. "So I'm the wrong version." She didn't answer. The moment of clarity that night, I sat alone in my room, phone in my hand, the person she mentioned, the one I stopped talking to, the conversation I avoided because it felt too heavy. I stared at the contact name. Then I realized something simple and terrifying. I wasn't scared of dying. I was scared of living a life that didn't mean anything before I did. I called them. We talked for hours, not fixing everything, just being honest for the first time in a long time. The next day I quit the job I hated, not with a big dramatic speech, just a quiet decision. I started walking toward the life I kept pretending I didn't want. Not because I believed I could escape death, but because I didn't want to meet it as the version of me who never tried. Final session, I told Dr. Hale about the changes. She listened, smiled. "Then you won't recognize the ending anymore," she said. "Does that mean I won't die that way?" She shook her head. "Everyone dies," she said, "but not everyone arrives there as themselves." I stood up to leave. At the door, I asked one last question. "Why did you tell me?" She replied softly, "Because some people don't need to know how they'll die. They need to know how they're currently living. I still don't know how I'll die. Maybe it will be in a crowded place. Maybe it will be quiet. Maybe it will come without warning. But I've learned something heavier than any prediction. The real tragedy isn't death. It's reaching the end of your life and realizing you were a stranger to yourself the whole time. There are messages on all our phones from the lives we didn't choose, missed calls from people we were too scared to become, reminders of the version of us that took the risk. You can't change how your story ends, but you can change who you are when the ending finds you. And sometimes that's the only kind of survival that really matters.